Welcome, everybody. I'm Vandana. Hello, Vandana. I was thinking of you yesterday and I realized, Vandana, where's Vandana? I haven't seen Vandana in ages, so I'm so happy to see you.
I
And
missed
welcome,
you.
everybody. And for those of you who don't know, Vandana was one of our longtime LATs. And so, welcome, everybody. It's great to see you, especially on for what is in the U.S. a holiday weekend. And I also was talking to Michelle before we started, and I realized that the way Zoom is, it doesn't really do justice to my work of art. And so I just wanted to show you this is what you think you're seeing, but I also want you to know that there's a whole
Ooh,
other element to
la
my
la.
outfit that you don't get to see on Zoom. So I thought, well, since you're my friends, I'll just share that with you. And I also wanted to let you know I'm in the, because I haven't talked about this in a little bit, but I'm in the second month of my protocol for my long COVID, and I'm actually getting better. So we're kind of knock on wood, and so more bandwidth, more ease. So I'm just feeling very happy about that, and so I wanted to let you know because I knew some of you wanted to hear about that. So one thing I wanted to share with you this morning is a wonderful quote from Rumi that I hadn't seen, and I wanted to share it with you. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come yet again. Come, come. So for me, it was such a lovely expression of recommitting, and especially during this highly explosive, implosive time, having a what I call a through line or a tuning fork. But what it really is choosing again, choosing how you're using your attention, choosing where you're placing where you're choosing to interact, and that just choosing over and over again. Because what I used to do was, I would fall off a commitment and then I would spend a lot of time blaming myself about it, or feeling bad about myself, and then I would eventually recommit. And then I realized one day that that whole beating myself up was actually it first of all, it wasn't useful. It didn't accomplish anything. It just kept me stuck longer. So I want to invite you to notice some kind of something that you've been working on or something that you've been wanting to shift, and it's more like in an eddy. It's going round and round. It's in a stuck place. It hasn't moved forward. And I wonder if you would be willing to just simply recommit to giving attention, first of all, to where in your body do you notice it. So just giving attention to where in your body, when you think of it, what lights up in your body. And what I'd like you to do is to give your swirling attention, your inner love scoop to that place in you. And when you do that, let your body respond however it responds. So I have a stuck place behind my left ear, and it's sort of the place. When something is bothering me, and so rather than blaming it or blaming myself, I just when I think of that, this is the place that lights up. And so rather than staying in my mind, I'm going to go directly to the sensation and give that sensation loving attention. And as I'm doing that, I feel first of all, I got a bigger breath. So notice when you give attention to that stuck place, what starts to move? Is it your breath? Is it movement? Those often will go together. So if you feel like moving and you follow that, your breath is going to follow that. And then from that place, let yourself let your attention go out and notice where your attention wants to go. So mine immediately went to a hanging flower pot that I have that's bright pink. And I just went boing, and my attention went out to that. And then as I'm looking at that, and then I come back to me, what sensation opens up in me from looking at that? And then I can let myself give attention to that inside and moving. And even this time, I generally don't close my eyes when I give attention to me, but I want to give myself that opportunity. And what I can feel now is that there's more movement that is circulating around my stuck place. So I want to invite you to let your attention go out again, see where it lands. Mine's landing on, I have a beautiful plumeria out this way. I've spent the last 25 years creating beauty so that anywhere that I look, or anybody who's on my property, anywhere you look, you see beauty, inside and outside. So in my front yard, my backyard. And so now I'm wanting to include that to my insides. Am I willing to experience beauty in my insides? Are you willing to experience beauty in your insides? Going from stuck place to giving it loving attention, and then noticing where out there you're drawn to. I have this fern gully over here that's gotten gigantic. I have elephant ears that are actually elephant ears. They're giant. They've gotten very giant. So I'm appreciating how with just the right environment, things really thrive. And the environment of loving attention allows things to thrive. So what we usually do is we give attention with some sort of blame or judgment or correction. I don't know if I'm sure you have that tendency. We all humans, it's a basic default position. And so just notice what's your current blame state with yourself. Like, oh, I'm just leaving messes all over the house. Or, oh, I didn't do that thing I said I was going to do 2 weeks ago. So just notice your default blame state, and then notice how it stops the flow. So I think it's one of the ways we protect ourselves. And so notice when you're blaming yourself, where do you most notice that in your body? Because we try to solve it from up here. This is the main shift that I want our loop of awareness to make, is from here to your whole body thinking, your whole body experiencing. And when you're giving attention to your body, what always happens for me is I get more movement and more breath. And then if I allow that more movement and more breath, I come back into or forward into, I move from blame into flow. And then you can let your attention, as you're looking out, invite flow. Invite with appreciation, with noticing beauty, but also with noticing where you experience that in your body. So letting yourself land and breathe and flow. But it's, again, choosing. And the basic choice with your attention is to shift it. Because one of the things that I forget and that we forget is that when you're stuck, your attention is stuck. And by just simply shifting your attention, you're starting the flow of awareness and connection, and then the next step and the next choice, and then you're back in flow again. So that's the main suggestion that I want to make with the loop of awareness, is that if you notice something, you're going to tend to want to go up and fix it or stop it or analyze it or make it somebody else's fault. But when the moment that you go, where am I experiencing that in my body? And you give your attention to that. And it's kind of saying, okay, give me your message. Communicate with me however you communicate. And then your body will. will give you an image, or you'll start moving in a certain way, or you'll think of somebody and then you can make a note, oh, I want to contact. Like you, Vandana, I was going to, when I finished today, send you a text. So, and I plan to still do that, but I'm so happy to see you. So coming into your mind is an invitation to flow. It's almost always an invitation to connection, something that you then want to include. So you can do that whole roomy move of come on down, come on in, welcoming whatever is coming up. So I think of love scoops as basically welcoming, instead of, because so much of what our brain does is try to keep things out. But welcoming, when you welcome in whatever is occurring, that serves your flow. So that's what I wanted to share with you today on that score. But let's go ahead and look at our card today, letting yourself flow on into that, noticing what you notice, and coming back to you and noticing where in your body is the card registering. Giving your attention to that, and then just coming back to the card, gently shifting your attention to the card and back to you. A very valuable direction, and a very challenging one, in my opinion. I speak in a way that generates connection rather than argument. I speak in a way that generates connection rather than argument. In what ways can I speak that are real and descriptive? I think that this is kind of the prime directive of our current state, is speaking in a way that's real and descriptive. And the question has some clues for how I can speak in a way that generates connection rather than argument. I wanted to also point to what looks like a spider web there. And for me, that is, spiders actually are symbols of transformation, and have been for, generations. And for me, also symbols of weaving and being able to, really being able to weave in open space and being able to weave between opposites. So we often, when I look outside during spider season, which we're coming into, I will see a spider web that is woven, it's like 10 feet across, and I wonder, how did that spider actually was able to bridge those spaces? And my sense is that our awareness is very much like this, that we are weaving connection as we're noticing and as we're experiencing. We are genuinely creating connection. And for me, the key words are real and descriptive. So my ability to face what's real, to be able to experience what's real, but then to be able to describe it. Even if I'm not doing it skillfully, if I'm able to describe it, I'm speaking in a way that then creates connection. And I invite you to let yourself try this out, especially with people that you care about, people who are more in your inner circle. I like to do this now with everybody. So whenever I'm speaking, I'm doing my best. I'm also noticing loop of awareness also creates the opportunity for you to check if your communication is landed. Which seems like very basic, but it's something that a lot of folks have forgotten currently, that if I am saying something and then I use my loop of awareness, I'm checking over here to see, did it land for you? And if it didn't, then I go inside to feel what other way can I describe this that will create that sense of connection. Also, loop of awareness allows me to reweave myself. Because with all of the stuff happening right now, I find that my own coherence gets challenged on a daily basis. And my giving myself that loving attention and letting my inner sensations weave with each other, and then what I'm saying really comes from what is happening currently. I'm in the flow of what's real in this moment. And there's something that's very healing and very connecting about that. So let's come on back to the big group. So moving from judgment to descriptive, moving from arguing to what I'm really noticing right this moment, those very simple moves I found establish connection with me, but also establish connection with others in a way that grows our ability to be together in community and to be in the field. Since I started with a Rumi quote, it allows us to move beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing, into the field. And what I'm experiencing more and more is that the field is real, and that we can each go into the field and receive nourishment. So you can go into the field and receive nourishment from me. I'm there in the field as well as here, and I am aware of you, and so you can draw connection from all of us anytime. That you, and especially love scoops, your energetic love scoops, your movement love scoops, so that you're including. Okay, yes, I was sharing with Michelle that over the weekend I was stirring a bottle of almond butter. It's stirring the oil in and managed to spill the entire thing on the floor. So think of almond oil and then almond butter and all over the floor. And Allie came in, our cat Allie came in and she looked at it, she looked up at me and she left the room. It's hilarious. So, but there's a facility of like, oh, that happened. And I didn't waste any time going, oh, God, I just went, oh, this is really, okay, so what do I need to do? And so I just did that, and, something else happened, and it's not as if everything is ever going to go smoothly. But right now, things are pretty rough in the collective. And I find that the quality of our attention, especially the caring attention, allows us all to navigate, because I'm quite sure that it's the wobbles that knocked over my almond butter. It wasn't me, it was the wobbles. and so I'm just, instead of saying, oh, there you go again, clumsy, I'm going, oh, wobbles, dealing with the wobbles. So we got lots of wobbles going on right now. So, including, I'm having a little phlegm coming up. Just going to take a little water. However, less phlegm now that I'm actually getting better with my long COVID. All right, new combo. Wonderful. Presence, it says wonder dash dot 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 So one thing I've been experimenting with is letting my travel on my loop of awareness. So the and literally letting myself with my loop of awareness. There's all kinds of research on this, and I'm so glad that it's another thing that I've been doing for years, and now there's research. That the is so magical for us in all kinds of ways. But one of the key things is it will shift you from your critical brain into wonder. And wonder is a state that allows magic to happen and allows things to occur in ways that you think, this cannot happen, this doesn't make any sense, but here we are. in a whole new way of appreciating and sharing. So, present, connect, play, when you put those together, that's the experiment for today. And it's putting them all together, I think, that really will create new ways of interacting, new ways of experiencing you and experiencing the world. So connect says reflect feelings. There's a bunch of stuff I've been reading recently about how, for example, naming your feeling creates magic. So naming your feelings allows the feeling to flow through you rather than being stuck, allows you to shift states. But when you're reflecting feelings with someone else, what I have found is that my loop of awareness is the most effective and it's the most effective and easiest way to reflect feelings. So unless I really know the person, I'm not going to trust my words, because my words may not match their way of speaking or their rhythm or their current experience, but my own feeling state can reflect their feeling state. In other words, my presencing, I can presence them, and I can feel their feelings, and then and without saying anything about it. It's really like, I like to think of sitting next to someone on a porch swing. So the way that I like to reflect another person's feelings is by being with them in myself. And so that's one thing. Now, if you know them really well, you can go, oh, something going on today. I don't have to name it. I don't have to figure it out. I'm reflecting. In other words, I'm mirroring feelings. One of the most effective ways to do that is with my body. Because when I'm using words, I get it's more precise, but it's also narrower. It's the toothpaste coming out of the tube. But when you're in your body, you're still the toothpaste. You can be playing with it. But once it comes out of the tube, it's more me condensed. So what I like to invite is a reflecting feelings that's more energetic, and it's more loop of awareness. And experiment with that and see what kind of deeper connection you're able to make. Because people, I practice this with my cat also. Because, I just telepath with her and she knows exactly what I'm saying. I'll look at her and I'll go, oh, your neck is still itching. And she actually looked up at me and went, meh. So learning how to communicate at all of these different levels rather than having to have the words, I think is going to create just much more play. And play is great. Exaggerate your gestures and expressions. So almost always, when to suppress play, we tell people to stop it, basically, or just calm down, or don't, so you're being just too much. So if you let yourself go with, like this place, your place in you that gets stuck, so my place, when it gets stuck, if I let it go more into how it gets stuck, this is what really helped me to realize this whole shoulder thing I've had over the last month I literally was rebirthing myself, which I was born with twilight sleep, so I had no idea consciously what happened when I was born. But with my medication here, it's clearing out all kinds of stuff, including my birth experience. And so when I go with that, I'm able to play. I get information, but I also get much more freedom of the flow of my movement and my thinking and my connecting. So exaggerating is a great way to play. It's also a great way to play with partners, with colleagues, with romantic partners. When you get into rather than stop it, go ahead and exaggerate. I did this with a couple that I was coaching online the other day, and I had them exaggerate, drop the words out and exaggerate, and they were in laughter in like 30 seconds, rather than, they were in laughter. So exaggerating, going with and exaggerating is a great way to play. Now, the task for you if you're willing to take it on, is to play with those all together. So, reflecting feelings and exaggerating, so that you're kind of in potential with that. So as you're moving around in the world, you can go with any one of those. You could exaggerate. I've had great fun with all of these things. That, my playground is the grocery store because I know I can find people I don't know there, and also people I do. And so I'll see somebody playing, like they're choosing mushrooms, and I can let my body just exaggerate a little bit of the way that they're doing that, and it creates a connection between us that they may not even realize. They don't know what I'm doing, but they feel the connection. And so my experience also is that people are really longing for connection, and the connection of attention. And so any way that we can give attention to ourselves and attention to others, we're furthering our community of like, hey, come on down. The whole room, come on. This is a big party and you're welcome. So you are so welcome. And I am about to create, I'm going to record another poem this morning, which you can find on Instagram. Those of you who go on Instagram, I've got, this one is called No Sweat. So that's going to show up on Instagram shortly. So please stay and share and practice. And I so appreciate you being here on what's a holiday. It's one of those contradictory holidays, which, almost all of ours are contradictory here. Like Independence Day is like, right, we sure are. And the Memorial Day is really about loss, but it's become like having your first barbecue. So there's, encompassing opposites is also part of what our practices can help you to do. So I'm acknowledging all of the different people who are grieving and grieving losses of all kinds, and giving attention to being with that feeling and letting it flow. I think is also a tremendous gift that we can give to the people around us, as well as our own losses, especially in this last 10 years. So the tide has turned, my friends. The tide has turned. So now our job is to continue developing our presence, connect, play, focusing on all of us being works of art and evolving works of art. And so thank you for sharing your work of art with me today and with each other. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah! Take care.